it's going to be an interesting race for these guys. Of course, they've got their eye in. They've had a race out there already, so they know where the weaknesses are, they know where the strengths are, and it's all about going out and making the most of where the opportunities arise. So it is the AC40 Pros out for race 2 of the day, the first of the rest of the series to do their second races. We've got the AC40 Rookies coming up next after this one. So we've got everyone starting to file into their grid slots. I believe we might have a rider just coming out of the pit lane now, so hopefully they'll be able to get round before the flag drops to send them out for their warm-up laps. Yeah, so the AC40 Pros, we saw earlier it was a good race. It was a good race for them. What's their mindset? Obviously, it's a step up from the rookies, and they're looking to move up into the elites. They've got used to the bike by now. So, what's their mindset going into this stage of their early career?
Well, now they've proved they have what it takes to move up into the AC40 Pro class, and now they want to prove they have what it takes to move even further and move on to the faster liquid cooled bikes. Some of these riders are already dipping their toe into that class, and this is really where they really start consolidating on a lot of the racecraft they've learned and a lot of the things they've learned through the past season or past seasons. So yeah, brilliant category for any young rider who wants to be coming up through the ranks and up into professional racing. So will be very interesting race for us.
Yeah, absolutely so. And yeah, we're expecting to see these guys maybe a little bit less elbows out from what we've seen from some of the bigger bikes and the older drivers, but nevertheless the action to be no less intense. We saw earlier on a couple of changes of position, especially in the opening laps. So these guys not being particularly tentative, they're quite willing and happy to get on it. Of course, we are reverting back to the shorter circuit that we've seen from these guys that were on the Minimoto. So there are a couple of overtaking positions opened up to these guys on the smaller bikes, and of course you've got 2 hairpin bends at the halfway down the back straight. So yeah, overtaking does become a little bit more available. Of course, not quite in the toe that we saw from the bigger bikes earlier on in the day, but yeah, 2 hairpin bends, under braking is probably your best opportunity to have a move.
Absolutely, yeah. For these guys, that is the perfect overtaking opportunity around this circuit. Not a hell of a lot of overtaking spots around here, but still always produces exciting racing, especially with that infield section. And like you were saying earlier, with that run from 5 into 6, is also quite possible on a Minimoto, although slightly more difficult.
Yeah, absolutely, and. Yeah, it's for these guys especially, it's all about keeping it on the black stuff. They can't ride the curbs half as much as what we saw from the pit bikes or, of course, the Extreme 200. So it teaches you good racecraft, doesn't it, to stay on the black stuff, to stay between the 2 white lines.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, later in the careers, they will need to learn to use every inch of the road, and that includes the curbs as they move up onto the bigger bikes, onto small, lower powered bikes, onto big tracks. So it is something they'll have to learn in the future, but for now, yeah, it's good for them to keep it on the black stuff, keep it controlled, especially for these bikes. They've got a hard nose and a hard tail, so no suspension for them, and so a big chunky curb won't do them any favours.
No. So currently it's Ethan Sparks that is the pole man. He's leading the field around on the warm-up laps. Archie O'Brien will be in 2nd position, Archie Gibbs in 3rd, and Luke Fitchett in 4th place. Wilson Dilks is in 5th with Marco Holt in 6th. Thori Trevorrow is in 7th. The number 14, Bill Harris, in 8th. Harry Payne in 9th. Noah Guillory in 10th. Keaton Payne in 11th, and the top 12 rounded out by Bailey Lawrence. Josh Williams in 13th, and Callum Maxwell down in 14th position. And I believe we have Casey Sperry. I believe it's Casey Sperry that might be down in 15th. So yeah, Casey might be changing. You can see some of the positions might change when it comes to the grid. Hopefully we'll see the timing screens. So you can see, I believe the race is going to, I believe we're underway in racing. So trying to find where the leaders are at the moment. So it looks as though it is Ethan Sparks that is still leading this one over Archie O'Brien and Archie Gibbs.
So very, very close one at the front at the moment. Ethan Sparks, Archie O'Brien, very close together. Archie Gibbs still in third spot. Looks like we may have a retirement. We'll bring you more info on that later. But yeah, brilliant job from Ethan Sparks, first 3 laps of this race to control this one at the moment.
Yeah, we saw Ethan doing well earlier in the morning, and he will be looking at holding on to another decent result to start the season. So Josh Williams now takes the lead on the exit, the final corner, I believe it was. So so Josh Williams now moves up into P1 ahead of Ethan Sparks. Archie O'Brien is in third, Archie Gibbs in fourth, Luke Fitchett holds on to 5th position.
Very nice, tidy lines through the back section there for these guys. Already had a few seasons under their belt, so they're just getting used to the right lines for them to be picking, and they're doing a brilliant job of it.
Yep, absolutely so. And these guys battling it out. We've got 5 laps left to go in this one, and so it's a slightly shortened race, slightly shortened circuit, so the times are down, and we've got the timings between the drivers all pretty similar as well, so we're finding that everyone doing a good job at kind of staying on the same pace.
Yeah, but absolutely, and Ethan Sparks also doing a very good job now moving up into first spot, and it looked like there Archie O'Brien was just trying to have a look as well at Joshua Williams. So we've definitely got an exciting 3-way battle for the lead going on at the moment, as we have 4 laps to go in this race. Coming onto the back straight into the back section once again through the long right-hander. Again, some brilliant lies shown from these guys, some brilliant racecraft at the moment, just to be able to follow each other, make moves, and all the right overtaking spots. You saw a brilliant move there from Ethan Sparks to take the lead out of the last corner onto the home straight and into the first corner. Yep. So brilliant stuff from these guys as they head into the infield section again.
Yeah, so it's very close up at the front, and these guys all having to pay attention to what's going on around them, equally focus on their own race, not worrying too much about if you're going to get past. You want to make sure you've got the optimum line, you've got the optimum place on the circuit, and make the guy behind you work for it effectively. You want to make sure they take or go to offline, go into the dirtier part of the circuit, perhaps get onto the curbs, get onto the rubbish on the exit or the offline section. So pick your points on the circuit to get your moves done. And Ethan Sparks holding on just now. Josh Williams is still very close behind him.
Yeah, it looks like we're down now to just a 2-rider battle at the front here between Sparks and Williams. Looks like O'Brien's just struggling to stay on the back of these guys. Perhaps something he can work on for the final race later on today. But I'm sure he'll be happy with the podium. But it's all about the battle at the front between these two, Ethan Sparks and Josh Williams. Which one is going to take this win? 3 laps to go for these guys as they head onto the back straight. Onto the home straight one more time. That is 2 laps now for these guys as they head into the first complex. Absolutely.
You're watching race 2 of the AC40 Pro class. We're here with the FAB-Racing Minibike British Championship from Lydd in sunny South East England in Kent. And we're bringing you a bumper weekend of action from FAB-Racing, and 24 races throughout the day today, 24 races tomorrow as we complete rounds 1 and 2. So plenty of action to go throughout the rest of the day. And everyone has completed their first races of the day. We're now into the second round of races. Of course, everyone 3 races for each class today. So a lot of work for these guys, especially in these tricky, warm conditions. So tiredness and fatigue may come into play later in the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of these lads are doing a hell of a lot of riding, and in some very, very tough, hot conditions. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some riders getting a bit fatigued later on in the day.
Yep, as at the moment it's not Ethan Sparks. He's just about holding on to the lead of this one. He's got 3/10 of a second gap over Josh Williams in second place. Archie O'Brien has fallen back now 4 seconds behind. Marco Holt moves up into 4th. Luke Fitchett's in 5th. But yeah, Ethan Sparks, we're on the final lap of this one, and it looks as though Ethan's going to pick up as long as he can hold on to the lead of this one. It looks as though he's going to pick up a victory, but you can see, Josh Williams is really starting to put the pressure on as we close in on the final stages of the race. And coming up to the infield section, it's going to be
very defensive Ethan Sparks.
Very offline, so that's allowing Josh Williams to get closer and closer, but Ethan Sparks is going to be leading going into the final 2 corners. Can Josh Williams use possibly a tighter line to get a run? We've already seen a close finish today, but across the line does come Ethan Sparks. He picks up the victory for race 2, just ahead of Josh Williams. 0.3 of a second splits the top 2. Archie O'Brien is still in 3rd place. He comes across the line. He rounds out your podium with Marco Holt still holding on to 4th place, with Luke Fitchett just behind him. Thori Trevorrow is in 6th. Archie Gibbs fell back somewhat after the start, I believe, down through into 7th. Bill Harris is circulating in 8th, comes across the line, and then we've got Harry Payne and Noah Guillory are in your top 10.
Yeah, brilliant race from all these guys, and a brilliant victory for Ethan Sparks. Good way.
But
so that's 2 race wins now for Ethan Sparks, as he did take a win earlier on today, so he will be leading the championship now, and Josh Williams 2 second places for him.
Yep, and there are your top 10 for race 2 of the AC40 Pro class, and it is Ethan Sparks from Josh Williams by the smallest of margins. Archie O'Brien picks up the podium place in 3rd, Marco Holt in 4th, Luke Fitchett comes home in a top 5 place with Thori Trevorrow in 6th, Archie Gibbs in 7th, Bill Harris in 8th, Harry Payne in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 was Noah Guillory. And as you say, a fantastic start to the season and to the day for Ethan Sparks. Is in the AC40 Pro class, so they've stepped up from the rookies, and they'll be looking at making an impact in the second stage of the AC and LC class. So obviously we'll be looking at moving up into the LC40 Elites, but we're now, red flag comes off the circuit, and the guys will be looking to the lights, and you can hear engine notes rising, and we're off and underway. There, it's a good start. They're sweeping around the outside into the lead, and that is of course a Joshua Williams, I believe it was, that got a good start there. And
Ethan Sparks now in the lead with
Ethan Sparks
with the blue and orange bike just ahead there of Joshua Williams. Has dropped back actually into 3rd spot. So that's Ethan Sparks still leading the race. You can see there Archie Gibbs drop back into 4th spot there. He'll be looking to regain those positions, as we were talking about how fast he can be. All very close as we go onto the back straight for the first time. Yeah, great start once again for Ethan Sparks, and slightly wide there into the first of the 2 hairpins in the infield, but manages to hold on to it with the riders behind closing in on him as they come round to finish the first lap of this final race of the day for the AC40 Pro class. And across the line does come Ethan Sparks along the inside. You can see they're just tentatively looking, but it's a good run on exit there for Josh. Was it Josh Williams? No, Archie Gibbs. Sorry, but yeah, it was a good start, and but it is Ethan Sparks that holds on to this lead. Yeah, brilliant stuff from all these guys. Ethan Sparks looking very determined to take that 3rd win, and he's doing a very good job of it. Josh Williams again struggles off the line, dropped from pole to 3rd, so he's going to be looking to try and make those positions back up. Archie O'Brien's done a good job to get himself into 2nd spot from back from 4th on the grid. So all these guys very close at the moment. Any of these guys could win this race. I think they're all at the moment now settling into this race. They've had that hectic start, and now just settling and studying each other at the moment, I think, Gareth. Yeah, absolutely. You can see the top 4 split by just under a second. So you've got a top 4 breakaway behind. You've still got a battle going on with 5th position, with Wilson Dilks and Marco Holt battling over 5th place, and they've been joined slightly by Luke Fitchett, who's just fallen back somewhat. So Wilson Dilks in 5th and Marco Holt battling over that top 5 position, but it is a top 4 breakaway with the riders that we've seen do relatively well so far this morning. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all these riders, we know they're all capable of running at the front. And it's funny you mentioned Luke Fitchett there down in 7th place. He was on the podium earlier on in race 1, so perhaps some trouble for Luke Fitchett, just struggling there, but we might see him climbing back up through the field later in this race, as Williams just has a cheeky little look up the inside of Archie O'Brien there, but doesn't quite take it. We noticed in the last race how good Joshua Williams is into that corner. He tends to take a very wide sweeping line to it. He's very good on the brakes into there. So I think if he's going to get past Archie O'Brien, it will be there. I think Williams now just needs to focus on getting past Archie and trying to break that gap to Sparks, because Sparks just looks as though he's breaking away. He had a 0.8 of a lead across the line. However, it does look like these guys are slightly closer than 0.8 now.
Yeah. So
perhaps
as
they're
you were
reeling
saying,
back in now.
As you were saying, Ethan Sparks starting to just break a little bit of a gap as the riders behind battle over that second place. And I mean, when you're in this position, obviously the riders are all looking at picking up podiums. They want to pick up the best result, but with 6 laps left to go, you can work with the rider ahead of you and use it to attack the leader and closing that gap.
Absolutely. I'm actually quite impressed by the maturity of these guys. Williams has just sat behind O'Brien and trusting that O'Brien has the pace to catch back up to Ethan Sparks. And you'd think riders so young wouldn't have that kind of maturity to just sit there and be so good with racecraft. But very impressive stuff from all of these guys.
Yeah, absolutely so. But it is Ethan Sparks that leads this one. He's half a second gap over Archie O'Brien in second, Joshua Williams in third. Archie Gibbs.
And a move for second place. That's Joshua Williams is going up the inside of Archie O'Brien. We were just saying how he was patiently waiting, but I don't think he wanted to wait any longer as he takes a second spot away from Archie O'Brien. So that's Joshua Williams now, the pole man, who's looking to close down the lead to Ethan Sparks. It was 0.5 across the line last time. What will it be this time as they negotiate their way through the infield section? Yeah,
it's definitely closing in on circuit, so this one's definitely not over. We've got 4 laps left to go at the end of this one, so plenty of time for Joshua Williams to make a move on Ethan Sparks for the lead of this one. And but Ethan already has got caught on the curb on the exit of turn 2 there, and just slightly unbalanced himself. So that will compromise his time. You can see Joshua Williams has managed to close in on him, so that gap has really closed in. So the pressure's starting to show for Ethan Sparks as he looks to pick up a perfect day.
Yeah, he's right with him now, and what he's going to be doing now is just watching Sparks, seeing where he can make a move. We've seen how strong Williams is down into the hairpin at the end of the back straight, so that could be an option for Williams, but he's got 4 laps to go now. He just needs to keep a cool head, doesn't need to rush past him, although he does look like he's having a little bit of a look. Not quite on this lap, but it could possibly be something we see later in the race, because as I said, we've seen how strong he is into that section. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of time now for Joshua Williams to have a go at Ethan Sparks.
Yeah, the gap is closing as it comes across the line. It flashes up, and it's 0.3 of a second, or 2.5 of a second, sorry, as they come across. So yeah, it is getting mighty close. We've got 3 laps left to go in this race 3 of the AC40 Pro class. And they are about to finish off their day, and hopefully Joshua Williams will be hoping to finish it off in sensational style by getting a late move on Ethan Sparks, who's looking at picking up a hat-trick in this class today. And he is currently leading, but Joshua Williams has now dropped Archie O'Brien in third, and he's right on the tail of Ethan Sparks, and a little bit further away this lap, so possibly just taking stock and getting ready for a final 2-lap push.
Yeah, we saw again there Williams taking that wide line on the entry to the hairpin, and it really works for him. He gets a good drive out and sets himself up for the left-hander. So yeah, brilliant stuff from Joshua Williams at the moment. I think he's just boxing clever at the moment, and watching Ethan for now, although they are coming up to some lap traffic, so hopefully they'll be able to make their way through that nice and cleanly. It may be a deciding factor in this race, however, but no, they both get through fairly cleanly. It looked like it did favour Sparks slightly, but nothing too much to worry about for Joshua Williams, as we've seen that he does have the pace to get right up onto the back wheel of Ethan Sparks.
As we're about a lap and a half left to go in this one, so it's getting close. Unfortunately, Joshua Williams just about maybe lost about 2 or 3 tenths lapping that traffic in probably the worst position coming out of turn 3 into turn 4 and turn 5. So he lost a couple of tenths, but he's back on the pace, back closing in on Ethan Sparks. Ethan Sparks looking at picking up his 3rd win of the day and starting off his season here, the AC40 Pro class, in perfect style onto the last lap. And Ethan Sparks he's got a bit of work to do, but it's looking in his favour. But Joshua Williams is right on him.
Yeah, you could just see Ethan Sparks was a little bit stronger into the first complex there, but nothing to worry about for Joshua Williams. He's just right on the back wheel from him. I think if we're going to see a move anywhere from Joshua Williams, it's going to be into that hairpin, Gareth. We've seen how strong he is into there, but also into the last corner may very well be an opportunity for him. But he's had enough time now to study Ethan Sparks. But now the question is, where will he have a go for the win?
It's getting close, and in fact Joshua Williams is probably the closest he's been so far. Is he thinking about it? Down into the braking point. He's very close, not quite close enough. There's lap traffic.
That might be who's going to take advantage of this. His only chance now is into the last corner. If he doesn't get this one, he's going around the outside, but I don't think he can quite get up the inside through the double right-hander. No, it is Ethan Sparks that holds on to the lead. 3 wins from 3 for Ethan Sparks. Joshua Williams picks up 3 second places, with O'Brien taking 3rd in that one. Well, a very exciting last lap there, Gareth.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys, no matter how young they are, they always pull out the stops and give you some supreme racing, and some great defensive driving there from Ethan Sparks, especially in the final lap traffic that he had to get his way around, and it didn't faze him. He managed to hold off Josh Williams, who's got to think that perhaps he could have taken that race if the traffic hadn't gone his way.
Yeah, no, definitely. He definitely would have been looking at it. There it is then confirmed. Ethan Sparks takes the win from Joshua Williams. Archie O'Brien, Archie Gibbs in 4th spot, so he managed to make up some positions there. The number 58 of Marco Holt took 5th spot ahead of Luke Fitchett, and then Wilson Dilks.
Yep.
Thorley Trevorrow took 8th place ahead of Harry Payne, and Bill Harris rounds out your top 10.